Hello, we're recording again. Yes, how you doing? Right. I just chucked my phone halfway across the car, so I figured I might as well start the video again. Anyway, yes, how you doing? Figured it's about time I made another quick little video. It's been I think about a month since my last little video. Hope the camera's alright. I think it's a little bit dark, so it's having trouble focusing properly. But yeah, figured I haven't really got anything new exciting to talk about, so I figured I would just talk about my my ongoing ear project, what I hope to do with my ears, like over the long term, where I am at the moment, what I'm planning on doing, other piercings and etc. So yeah, thought I'd finally share that with everybody. So I've had the same basic idea for them for quite a while now, but it's evolved a little bit here and there. But yeah, first things first, so there's nothing really new to talk about. I've got a little bit more tape on them since last time. Since last time I actually did a video. I can't remember how big they were then, but they're about 88-89mm now. They're pretty tight. It's a little bit of a gap, but I don't want to push them yet. I don't want to go back to how I was before, where they're just unhappy half of the time. Or this here at least. This one's still fine, but this was my problem here. But no, they're quite happy for the time being. So I hope you want to keep them that way. As like I say, they're about 88mm at the moment, which is actually a little bit bigger than I thought they would be. Now, obviously this September we've had quite a warm September, and working outside, getting the sun, my ears have been nice and happy, and it has actually helped them stretch out a little bit quicker than I was expecting. My projected expectations, I suppose, if you want to call them that, was to hit about 90mm around New Year's, sort of December, New Year's time. But I think I'm a little bit ahead of where I actually expected to be. So with a bit of luck, I should actually break past the 90mm mark, sorry, before the end of the year, which would be quite nice. I'll be quite happy with that. So fingers crossed, just have to see how it goes. Obviously, if the weather turns really bad, I might not be able to go up at all, but no, so that's about it. And my conches are still the same. I'm still waiting on the new jewellery for my conches and my septum. Frustratingly, they haven't turned up yet. I've been waiting for quite a while now, but no, so hence why I haven't done a video. I was waiting to get a new video to actually show those off. So waiting to do a new video to actually show those off. But like I say, they're not here yet. But anyway, yeah, so my future plans. Obviously with the ears, the earlobes. If you hadn't guessed already, I just want them as big as possible. I have no specific goal. I've always said with any of my piercings, the only things I wouldn't do would be things that would sort of detract from my quality of life. If they ever get so big that they actually get in the way and make life difficult, then obviously I won't stretch any bigger. But I don't know how big they'd have to be in order for that to happen. They're not in the way yet, even though they rest on my shoulders. But as yet, they're not in the way. They don't irritate me at all. They don't, like I say, they don't detract from daily life at all. They don't get in the way or anything. So when that will be, I don't know, or if they'll ever even be able to stretch from that big. They might get to a point where, for whatever reason, I simply can't stretch them anymore, or something happens, or whatever. I'm getting shine in my eyes, Lord. Then obviously I would stop at however big they end up getting to. I have no specific plans. If I can get them 6 inches, I will. If I can get them 8 inches, I will. If I can get them 10 inches, I will. We'll just see what happens. And so yeah, that's about it for lobes. Just want them as big as possible, basically. And obviously the other one I've actually got pierced at the moment is my inner conch. I've changed a little bit exactly how big I want these. I originally wanted to get them maybe to about 28mm, something around there. Because my original plan was to have my inner conches bigger than my septum. But now that I want my septum bigger, it'll get to the point where it would just be too big for my liking, I think, with other things that I want in my ears. So I think I will probably now stop stretching my conches around the 24mm mark, I think. Obviously that could well change. I can't tell the future. Maybe when I'll get there I'll decide, actually, you know what, I'll go a bit bigger after all anyway. But we'll see. But yeah, so that's obviously what I've got in here at the moment. Got a few other piercings planned around the outside of the cartilage, which I will get into. I would like both my tragus. Obviously, both ears I want them balanced. I want them the same. So everything I want in this ear, I want in the other ear. But basically, with my tragus, I would like it pierced twice. Obviously, one above the other, and I probably would stretch them ever so slightly, just perhaps to sort of 3 or 4 millimeters, just very, very small little plugs, or little tunnels if I can get some tiny tunnels that small. So I don't particularly like just one big stretch tragus. That's something it just doesn't aesthetically appeal to me. So obviously that's something I won't do. So, but I think I would quite like having just 2 mini little tunnels just on each tragus. I think I have enough room in my tragus to do that. They're quite prominent, so we'll have to see. That will probably be one of the things I get pierced first when I finally get around to actually getting more piercings. It has been years and years since I had any new piercings in my ears, so like I say, it will depend on. That will probably be the next thing I get. If not, the next thing I get will be, I would like a piercing through the cartilage, very close to the inside of the ear, because I've sort of got 2 different plans. One ideal plan, which I don't think is going to happen, and then sort of a plan B, I suppose. It all depends. It depends a lot on how much space I have left in my ears. First of all, once I've finished stretching this, and then as I get other piercings and begin to stretch them, obviously depending on how much space I have left in my ears as I stretch them will dictate how many more I actually get around my ears. It's basically the piercing I would like right in the centre, right close to my head. That would be the first one I'd want to get, and I would like to stretch that up to about a 14mm, I think. Yeah, up to about that size, so just about the same size as what my conch is at the moment. And that would be, obviously, like I said, the first one I would get. And the reason I want to get them in order like this is because I do obviously want to stretch them all quite big, but depending on how much space is left after each one gets to its goal size, that will I'll then be able to decide exactly where in my ear I get the next one pierced and how many I can actually fit in all together. Ideally I would like 4 all the way around, but I have a feeling I'm probably only going to fit 3 in, but we will see. Like I said, I'll be interested to see what happens. It depends on exactly how much my ear changes. So I would obviously have the first one in there. I'd like to get that up to about, let's say, somewhere about a 14mm, probably 12 to 14mm range, something like that. So ½ inch, slightly over ½ inch. The next one out around, which should be more of the just the normal outer conch or flat sort of position. I would like to get that big. I've always imagined that I would like to get that bigger than however big I end up with my conches, my inner conch. So maybe, like I say, ideally, probably never going to happen, but ideally I would like to get it to somewhere, perhaps a 28 or a 30, if I start off about 24 with this. However, obviously again that very much depends on how much room I have. If it ends up getting too big and destroying the tissue between like the 2 piercings that I would have up the top here, obviously I'm not going to do that. It also depends a little bit. I've seen some very, very large stretched outer conches, or flats, whatever you want to call them, and it gets to a point where the piercings are so big that the ear doesn't hold up anymore, and it just sort of falls over forwards like that, or even backwards. I don't particularly want that to happen. It wouldn't bother me too much if it happens just a little bit, but ideally I would want my ears to more or less hold their shape. Obviously different shape, but hold out like an ear, if that makes sense, rather than flopping over or back or whatever it would do. I mean, things can be changed a little bit just to help that along. Obviously custom jewellery. This is something I want to do a video about, actually, the importance of custom jewellery when you're stretching things very big, because it makes a big difference. But obviously if I could get sorry, my phone's buzzing. If I could get custom jewellery made just to fit perfectly, hopefully that would help me take them a little bit bigger. Obviously that's been so important to get my septum as big as it is, getting the perfectly fitted jewellery. I'm pretty sure it would make a big difference in the outer ear cartilage as well. So yeah, so that would be that one. The next one down, I would like another one in the cartilage as well. I would like that. I don't know how big I'd like to get that. Again, like I say, it depends very much on how big everything else is. But I like the idea of trying to get that one to perhaps sort of 3/4 of an inch, sort of 19-20mm maybe, something like that. And then again, if there was enough space below it, which I highly doubt there'll be enough space for a 4th piercing after all that. But if by some miracle there is, I would like to have another smaller piercing further down as well, and probably just stretch that to something like something like 1/2 inch, something like that. So again, it'd be slightly smaller. Obviously my actual ear at that point would probably be about that big, but we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens. And but yeah, I'd like to, at the very least, like I said, a sort of plan A and plan B. That would be ideal if I could manage to do that. And if not, I would be quite happy if I could even just have 3 large stretch piercings in the outside there, which I've seen done. I've seen a few people with 3 or so relatively large piercings all in there. So fingers crossed I'll be able to get that all done eventually. And yeah, that's long way in the future. Like I say, because I'll want to be doing them one at a time. Like, if I'd say, for example, I decided to go to 14 with the one closest to my head, I might get the next one pierced as it gets close, maybe sort of 12mm or so, because by that time I would have a rough idea exactly of what shape my ear is going to be at that point, how much space there's going to be, all that sort of thing. And I would know roughly what I can do, what options I have left for piercings and whatnot in the ear. So yeah, that would be the ideal situation. Something else I have considered on and off. Obviously, it will not be something I get done anytime soon. In the actual, because obviously my earlobe is obviously stretched out so big. The tissue here is pulled out, and there's quite a soft gap here. Now this bit here, sort of about here, is just all earlobe that's been pulled out sideways, if that makes sense. If I get to a point where I can't stretch my ears any bigger, for whatever reason, maybe they get, I don't know, unhealthy or injured or something, or I just decide I don't want them any bigger, then I would consider as well getting a second lobe piercing done and stretching that up just to see how big I could get that as well. Obviously it wouldn't be anywhere near as big as this, but that is something I would consider. But again, that's far down after I've done everything else, and so I said enough's enough with everything else. But to be honest, I honestly don't really ever see myself stopping stretching the lobes unless they get to a point where they're so big they're in the way, which I don't know. I think they'd have to be pretty damn big for me to actually feel like they're in the way. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's basically the whole ear plan. I've had the odd other little plans, like sort of a couple of piercings in the sort of the outside of the ear. I think that's just called something like forward helixes or something. I'm not very good with all the random little ear names, but no, I have considered just having maybe 2 or 3 little studs put in here at some point. But again, that'll probably be further down the line after I finish everything else. And I have a very flat notch in my ear. Don't know how well you can see that. No, you can't see it very well. But rather than my ear being nice and round, here is a perfectly flat bit. It's only in this one ear. My other ear doesn't have it. But I've considered in the past getting a little piercing through there as well, and just having a little tunnel in that as well. But we'll see. Obviously that would be the only thing that wouldn't be on both sides, because this ear is just a normal round ear. But yeah. So yeah, that will be, like I say, it's all things to think about further on in the future. How much will happen, I don't know. I would like to try and get at least 3 large piercings in the outer ear, if possible. Ideally, who knows, maybe I'll get the 4th one in there, but realistically I don't think I'll have enough space to do that. I don't even know if I will realistically be able to get the big outer conch as big as I would like it. But we'll just see how it happens. We can only just try and see where we go. But yeah, so that's my ear plans basically. But there's other little things, like I have considered getting like implants in the ears themselves, little things like that, and possibly getting my lobes tattooed. But again, they're all ifs and buts. They're not part of the overall plan. They would just be other little things I would do randomly on the fly, I suppose, rather than part of the main plan. It would just be something else, a bit of fun to do, I suppose. But yeah, so yeah, that's basically it. That's basically it for the ears. I'll say the other big plan with the face, obviously with the nose. I'll talk about that in another video. I don't think that'll be quite as long as this video. Mind you, there's a few little things I would like to do with my nose. It will take a little bit of explaining. So like I said, I'll get onto that in another video. And one or two other things, like things I'd like to do to my forehead and my head. Possibly like lip piercings and things like that as well. But like I said, I'll get into that all in another video or something. But yeah, hope you found this interesting. And I hope I haven't like done something stupid like covered up the microphone hole. I actually don't know where it is on this phone. It's somewhere. So hopefully I haven't covered that up and I've been talking for no reason, you can't hear me. Like I say, I didn't hold the phone in front of the air vent in the car this time, so hopefully it won't just be going whoosh half the video, because that was really annoying and I couldn't be bothered to record the video again the second time last time. But yeah, anyway, I'm rambling again. Yeah, I will speak to you again soon. Like I said, I have a couple of other videos I want to make at some point. I've had more than one person ask for advice with actual taping plugs, and I will make a video. I've got obviously quite a bit of experience with the whole taping thing now, and using bondage tape specifically. So I will, but that's a video I'll have to do when I'm at home, and I generally don't have a lot of spare time when I'm at home. There's always things to do. I have 18 pets, which take up a hell of a lot of time, clearing up after all them, feeding them, playing with them, all that sort of stuff. On the very rare occasion that I do get some actual downtime to myself, I'd normally rather just have a nap or something like that. But I promise I will get a little video about that up again soon as well. And yeah, so I think that's about it. When I finally get this other jewellery through in the post, I will show it off. That'll probably be like a 2-minute video of just me saying, hey, it's new jewellery. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I think that's about it. That is my ear project, if you will. My plans and hopes and dreams for what the stupid things I want to do to my ears. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. Sorry it's dragged on for so long, and thank you for watching all the way through if you did, and I will see you again in a couple of more weeks for another video. Goodbye for now. Ta-ra.